I'm Batman.
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me? Who's got you?
Mr. McGee, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
I'm a Johnson, but probably not the one you expect.
I'm Captain Kirk.
Welcome everyone to the special Geek This Week presentation, and this is the Revenge of the Nerds panel from Pensacon 2023 at the Wright Place Center in downtown Pensacola, Florida. Watch as the cast of Revenge of the Nerds, Robert Carradine, Curtis Armstrong, Don Gibb, and Brian Tochi talk about their classic roles from the movie. They also will talk about how the making of the movie and plus its cultural impact since the movie came out to now. So sit back and enjoy the panel. And don't forget to check out all the other great panels from previous Pensacons on the Geek This Week YouTube channel and all the other great videos. And again, thank you guys for your support. We appreciate it. And I hope you enjoy this video and enjoy and take care.
Ceremonies for today's panel. Here's Jonah Ray!
Is it up to me? Look at this. I can now charge more for having done some AV. Thanks for coming to the panel for Revenge of the Nerds. Give it up for Revenge of the Nerds, as mentioned in the movie American Splendor. So we're going to bring up 4 of the actors. I love this movie. I grew up watching it. I went on to have a career in the sphere of nerd, from being on the Ners podcast and then to Mystery Science Theater 3000. This is my Venn. I am the middle of this Venn diagram. So I want to bring out our actors who are all amazing actors in their own right, and they really were incredible in this movie. Let's go start off. We're going to bring out Donald Gibb, known as Ogre.
Yeah!
And we're going to do Brian Tochi, who was Toshiro Takashi. Brian's next, Brian Tochi. And then we're bringing out Curtis Armstrong, also known as Dudley Dawson, also known as Booger. You can sit anywhere you want. There you go. There we go. Brian, I called your name already as well. Brian Tochi, and then of course, Lucas Skolinick, Mr. Robert Carradine, everybody. I don't know, they didn't tell me where to sit. I just chose the middle seat because it's a power position.
It's a power position.
Yeah.
Power position. Power position.
Power position. All right.
This is a power position. Hello.
Give it up for the Nerds of Vengeance, everybody.
How you guys doing? Well, there's a lot of people here. Oh my God. Whoa. Whoa.
So the way I like to do this, I like to keep it loose. So we're going to have a conversation about this movie, about acting in this movie, about the cultural impact of this movie. At any time, if someone has a question, raise your hand. I will pick on you. And then, that's a weird thing to say, a nerd thing. I will not pick on you. I will choose you to be the person who asks a question, but just make this freewheeling and fun. So let's first just go down the line and have everybody talk about it, what they were doing in their career before this movie, where they were at, and does he need help?
Oh, you talking to it?
Yeah. Talking to the fuzzy part.
I was looking to see. I thought it was a telescope.
Yeah,
I can't see anything, Curtis.
No, it's fine. Brian, why don't you start?
Brian.
Hello. Good to see everybody. I actually lost the accent. I'm sounding more Yiddish as I get older. Hi everybody, I'm Brian. I'd like to talk to you. Thanks for showing up. We love you guys. And so what was the question?
I'm just gonna have everyone introduce.
What do we do?
No, like what? It's like what were you doing in your career before this movie, and it's like how'd you end up getting to be a part of it?
Working at a sushi restaurant. That's where he was.
Yeah.
Right, you've been acting a ton before this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a bunch of different TV series beforehand. I was working a lot, but the way I got Revenge of the Nerds is, do you remember Aftermash? Aftermash was when Jamie Farr married this Asian gal, and it was on 20th Century Fox. And so basically, and she played my sister in my first TV series with Yul Brynner on CBS, called Anne and the King. It was a takeoff of The King and I. And we had the same producers as MASH. The same people. We were back to back on Sundays. Okay, done. I'm almost done.
It's all about
I just started.
That's my daughter. It's all about me.
Okay.
You guys went.
And so basically, the cast director said, "Do you know any Asian people who might be right for the role of Takashi?" And so she says, "Yeah, I know this guy Brian Tochi." And so I came in, and wouldn't you know it, they hired me for Takashi.
Were you the one Asian friend that was invited to?
I was the one Asian friend. Actually, they saw a ton of people. I mean, they really did. You know, they went to their local sushi restaurants.
Yeah.
You're right.
And it just so happened, I just happened to come in on a good day when everybody was feeling good. And so they said, "Oh, we don't take him." That time.
Great. Now, I'll skip Dom. Just because I want to see if we can really put him to sleep. Curtis. Dom, right? It was a bit. It was a joke.
Come back and join us.
We love you. We love you.
You will notice you will get confused and wander off.
I do get confused a lot, you know that for sure. Girls, boys, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. So where does Dawn begin and Ogre end? Nowhere?
Never. They're the same person.
They're the alpha omega of you.
That's right. I am the stud of the thing. The boys will tell you that they do everything that I do, and when I say we're going, we go. You nerds, everyone in. That's right. Thank you, brother.
As a tough man,
Yes, thank
how does it feel to be shoved into this world of nerds? It must make you angry, because you're a football player.
Yeah, you know, that's why I should have got an Academy Award for this. Which I was surprised that I didn't get nominated, as I played, you know, a nerd in the second one, and it was quite a reach for me, you know what I'm saying? Because I ain't a nerd, you nerd. So there you go. I'll go back to sleep now. Thank you very much. Nice to see you.
Don gives everybody, Don gives.
Clap, you nerds, loud. What do I do with these guys, Dave? What do I do?
Curtis, you as well. It's like everyone here was acting a ton leading up to this movie, and you're no exception here. And
Except for me.
yeah.
You're right. No, I was I used to work at 7-Eleven. I got hired because they thought I looked like Ogres.
He said, "Hire me or else."
Or else, because I'm tired of this 7-Eleven job.
It's a good job. An honest job.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So I had done one movie before this, which was considered actually a pretty good movie. And then I did this movie, and
Yeah, that was a step down for you, sir. That's like going from Gone to the Wind to a porn film.
Don was in Gone to the Wind with the wind.
I was.
He was the wind.
And I was the
Got
horse.
the wind something awful.
Dog in the
And the
wind.
horse in Ben-Hur.
Yeah, which was his finest role up to this point.
Thank you so much.
And so I had done this movie, and they were looking for Booger, but they were looking really for sort of Ogre. They were looking for somebody who would be the nerd version of Ogre. And I wasn't on the face of it the nerd version of Ogre, but they took me anyway, and now I'm still with him after all these years. Which is
The
kind
nerd
of amazing.
version of Ogre. There you go, right there. Take a
Curtis
look at it.
Armstrong.
If you see your
best
children
known
come out
for-
like that, it's a nerd.
No, but hey, Curtis, tell them what movie it was that you
Yes,
were in
Curtis,
before
tell them.
Revenge of the Nerds.
His people did this movie.
Some of them did. The movie was called Risky Business.
Holy crap, insane!
Starring Curtis Armstrong with Tom Cruise.
Featuring, also starring Tom Cruise.
And featuring Tom Cruise.
Don Gibb was in there somewhere.
So yeah, that was my first movie. But what was great about that movie was that a lot of people who were making movies and TV later in the decades, just shut up. In the 80s were like influenced. They loved that movie. Yeah, still here now. And so that was how I wound up getting Revenge of the Nerds. I got Better Off Dead because of that. I got Moonlighting because of that. All of those, thank you, John. All of those jobs were because people admired that movie. Not me particularly. They just wanted somebody who had been close to it.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, stunning. You're brilliant. Anyway, so that was what I've been doing up until then. And then after that, I was, I was basically doing the same stuff over
Curtis
and over
Armstrong is a Shakespearean actor, Shakespearean trained actor.
Oh, yeah.
It's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he is actually, if you know him, the antithesis of Booger in real life, but the guy is an amazing actor.
As you can tell from Booger.
What? Yes, because I had nothing to do with Booger. I was not at all like Booger, right, Bobby?
That's correct.
That's correct. Bobby, wait up. That's correct.
So, although I was somewhat embarrassed because of the nose picking, I said embarrassed.
Oh, embarrassed. Yeah,
because of the nose picking and the belching.
Ew,
and all of
yeah.
that. What?
Right.
Oh, I don't think so. Neither of us have those belches in us anymore. Speaking for myself, I don't have those belches in me anymore.
Oh, I do.
Okay.
Let's get the guy.
So, I forgot what I was saying.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But
I
it
was
was
falling asleep on that one anyways.
I knew as soon as I started that whole thing that I was going to get in trouble. And so, yeah.
God,
All right.
I like that I can hear myself a little loud. I like that.
I was coming down to Robert Carradine.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Robert Carradine.
We didn't even know he was here.
So quiet. I know.
It's the best to last. Save the best for last, though, right?
Possibly.
Okay.
So, time for the one-man show. Robert Carradine.
Did that on purpose.
See, you threw everybody right to
For effect.
That's the sign of a
That's
good
a sign of a pro.
Yeah. He's been around, Bobby.
Do you need help, Robert?
Oh, fine.
No, man, it pinched me. That's gonna blister. Okay, so thanks for coming to our Q&A. When the Revenge of the Nerds came along, I was not interested. I just heard that title and I said, I'm out. I'm not a nerd. I'm not going to play a nerd.
You're a very cool guy. You were doing a lot of cool roles, too.
I was doing cool roles. I was living in the Hollywood Hills, riding my Triumph motorcycle around at tremendous speed, and basically, being a ne'er-do-well.
What speed are we talking? 45 miles an hour?
No.
72?
There might be a policeman here. So anyway, my agent convinced me to go in and meet these people about Revenge of the Nerds, and I went in to meet them, and the director and I kind of hated each other on sight, and I left, and I thought, okay, that's that. And about a week later, they said, okay, they want you to come in and audition. And I'm thinking, oh man, I've got to audition for this? They said, yeah, listen, it's a studio picture, get your act together, you're going in. So I said, okay, I'm going in. I had really long hair at the time, and of course the motorcycle. So I got a regular boy's haircut, and I stopped at an eyeglass store to get the glasses. And I'm looking at these glasses, and they're all like $200-300 for these frames. And this is back in 1984. I mean, that's a lot of money. And the optometrist comes out and says, can I help you? I said, well, not at these prices. He says, your eyes are very important, son. You don't want to put proper glasses in front of your eyes. I said, well, I whispered because I didn't want anybody in the store to hear me say nerd. So I said to the guy, I've got to play a nerd. He goes, oh, a nerd? Okay. And I'm like, so he goes in the back and he gets his shoebox full of glasses. He blows the dust off the top, opens it up, pulls out the engineering glasses that you see in Apollo 13 on all those actors, and I put them on. They were perfect. So I went to the interview, and I got there. And I'm sitting on the outskirts of the casting room, and this lady comes out, she looks around, she looks right at me, she goes back in. She comes out, like 10 minutes later, she looks right at me, goes back in. She comes out 10 minutes later, I go, hey, I've been here since 2 o'clock, and she went, Bobby? Like she couldn't believe it was me. That's how severe the transformation was. And that's pretty much what got me the role.
Wow.
See?
And we're glad you got it, Bobby.
Oh, thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. Oh, and the laugh, okay? The laugh, I didn't come up with that. James Cromwell, the actor that played my father, he came up with it. And I've kind of been, trying to figure out, it's in the script that the kid, that Lewis has this insane laugh. And I couldn't come up with an insane laugh. I was too busy riding my motorcycle. So I get the location, and I've been out there a week and a half, and we're about to start the movie, and I go over to the director, and I say, hey, I don't know what to do for the laugh. He said, well, here, watch this. And he put the audition tape from James Cromwell into the machine. And I watched it, and he does the laugh. And I thought, oh man, that's it. So I go over to James and I go, hey man, your laugh is really damaged. He said, that's not my laugh. I go, it's not? He said, no. I said, it's a technique. He said, yeah. I said, oh, show it to me. We gotta laugh the same way. And that's how the laugh was born.
And so, like, you guys do the movie, and it comes out, like, did you, when you heard the term nerd, and like the idea, like the cartoon character, like the thing that basically this movie almost established as the idea, the caricature of a nerd, it's like, did you have any people in your life that you knew that were like that you kind of based it off of, or anything like that?
I based it off of my brother Christopher, who's an Imagineer with Disney. And when I told him that, he got really pissed. But the next year, when the Disney Halloween party happened, he went dressed as me.
Nice. And like, did you?
Well, I think that we represented a whole cross-section of real people.
Yeah.
And what was so cool is that we kind of, after Revenge of the Nerds, I think the term nerd became part of the American lexicon, or the worldwide lexicon. Nobody really knew what a nerd was. It kind of started off as an article in a magazine that they kind of embellished and created this movie about. But I think we really kind of represented a real cross-section of people that were real people. And so, as far as if you knew anybody in particular, no. I mean, I just knew a slew of like Asian people. Dorks.
Yeah.
Dorks. We all, we can all kind of relate to being a nerd at some point or another, right?
The cross-section
All
is right.
nerds in this audience, I can tell, I can smell. Nerds everywhere.
But it's like it was like the original Sex in the City, where it's like any kind of nerd on the spectrum can watch it and be like, oh, I'm like Booger, or I'm like this. Yeah.
That's right.
Nobody's like Ogre, so knock it off.
And where'd you guys shoot the movie? How long did it take? Was like it seemed like a pretty fun time. There's a ton of young people.
Curtis?
I have to say something really cool.
Oh yeah.
Studios, when you do a film, it's rare and now never where they would bring the actors, the main actors, in for rehearsals or anything else. You just basically go, if you go on location, you go right to the project and start filming right away. We were so lucky because we filmed this in Tucson, Arizona, and they brought many of us, the main people, like 3 weeks prior to, but they had to keep us separate from Doc here, and the jocks. He was a jock, he became a nerd. But so what happened was we were able to come in and kind of bond 3 weeks prior to principal photography, which is kind of a really cool thing. And for some reason, if you look at it, you'll see the relationships that we had in the film. And to this day, I mean, we love each other. We love each other. We do, honestly. After all these years, we love each other. And it really made a difference, I think, in the way that we kind of, what you see on camera. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like.
Why don't you sit next to Curtis? I told you I wanted to be there, Bobby.
What?
You want to switch seats? I don't care.
No, we're good. I'll sit here.
All right, just for now.
And so, like, shooting, it's like, did you guys, anyone know each other beforehand, just from around LA? Like, was anyone riding motorcycles with the cool Robert Carradine?
None of us knew anybody. We didn't even know ourselves. We were so young.
That's deep.
Bobby.
Bob grew up in the industry, pretty much, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was surrounded by it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a younger man, I had the opportunity to audition for the John Wayne film, The Cowboys, and I didn't want to go in. I didn't want to, you know? And my brother David, very sage man, said, Robert, you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. So I went in and I got it, and that started the progression. It led to...
You were awesome, though.
Which led to Revenge of the Nerds, a film that I actually said Mel Gibson wouldn't be a nerd, I'm not going to be a nerd.
Was the
That's
worry
true.
that it would affect your career afterwards?
What the what is it? What film is it called?
Revenge of the Nerds.
Revenge of the Nerds.
You know, I lost all caring about what happened after the film because I was so enamored and in love and having the time of my life on the film. I didn't care what happened afterwards.
Yeah, it was great.
I was living in the moment and we were creating
Magic.
Yes, magic. Thank you, Don. I was stumped.
Smarter than I look, nerds.
You know what I love? Those of you who know movies like from the 40s and so on know Bobby's father was John Carradine, who was in a lot of the classic horror films and everything. But one of my favorite stories that you told me was when the movie opened. You know,
No, he was at the...
You won't tell him.
Oh yeah, my dad came to the sneak preview in Westwood, and the place was. Well, first of all, we couldn't believe there was a line around the block. This is before social networking. How did they find out I was going to even be there? Anyhow, it was a full house. We brought the house down, and the lights started to come up. I go, "What'd you think, Dad?" He says, "Well, it isn't Shakespeare."
Classic dad. What a classic dad line.
Yeah. Especially from John Carradine.
Yeah.
I mean, God.
Yeah. No shit, Dad.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Did he change his tune when it's like this was a huge movie, a culturally impactful movie, and also just it made a ton of money.
Well, what he actually said to me about 2 months down the road, he said, "Son, now that the accountants have heard of you, you're on your way."
What was it like for everyone else? After, because it landed. It was a huge sensation. People, squares and nerds alike were all going to see it. And what happened in your day-to-day lives? What happened in your careers?
Well, I started Bloodsport. That's all you need to know. The rest of these guys wish they did that movie. You nerd.
No, after the movie
Sorry
came
for
out.
coming. I'm sorry, guys.
After the movie came out, I got to be in a movie with Billy D. Williams called Number One with a Bullet.
Yeah.
I got to play a police detective. Ain't nothing nerdy about that.
No.
I was just kind of lucky. I knew from Nerds, I mean, there was a lot of high-profile kind of thing. It was really, I just felt very lucky to be a part of it. And I was lucky. I had a couple other franchises. I was in the Police Academy movies and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies. But I have to tell you, people ask me of all the different stuff I've done, what's my favorite film? And I have to say, Revenge of the Nerds is absolutely by far the best. The story. I mean, because these guys are just, these people, everybody's just the best.
Yeah.
Love them.
How about the movie you do, Fortune Cook?
Oh, that was not me! That was not mine! Whoa!
Super appropriate humor.
I'm never appropriate. Okay, and what are you gonna do about it, boy? Well,
Fortune Cookie was in the 50s. Or maybe 60s.
For any of you offended, I'm sorry.
Next question.
Please, let's get done.
Well, it's when you make stuff, you can never rely on the people you're working with to be fun to hang out with. You never know what's going to happen with the project. It's you guys were having fun while shooting it, but did you have any idea that was it maybe just another movie?
No, none at all. In fact, I wound up writing a book about this.
It's a great book. It's such a
Great
great book.
book, too. Go get the book.
Okay, no, down.
It's on tape, too.
Done. my point in bringing it up is I interviewed everybody. I interviewed all of these guys and the director and the writers and all of that because I wanted to get other people's views on
that
making the movie. And the one thing that was across the board is what Bobby said was the fact that everyone sort of went into it. That's exactly what it was like. They were dreading it because they didn't want to make the movie. And it was, we sort of went in going, okay, we're making. I mean, it was one of those things where if you were in the business and you'd say that you were making a movie, and they would say, well, what's it called? And you'd go, I don't think they've settled on a title yet. You know?
Just like studio comedy.
It's called what? What, Don? Revenge of the What?
Yeah.
No, I just finished a movie called, and they're like, oh yeah, great. Well, we'll see that in porno films. Like, no, that's not what it is.
It was. Everybody was embarrassed.
Yeah.
The guys who wrote it were embarrassed, and no one really wanted to have anything to do with it. And then when 20th Century Fox saw the
rough cut.
Huh?
The rough cut, that one?
Yeah, the rough cut. Then they started really getting cold feet, and they
hated it.
They didn't like it at all.
They hated it.
Johnny Dangerously. The Michael Keaton movie, Johnny Dangerously?
Oh, the Keaton. Michael Keaton.
They're going to put all the money into Johnny Dangerously because your movie is crap.
Yeah.
And I
They're
said,
giving
what?
Piscopo more money.
Who turned my mic down? Who turned my mic down?
That wasn't me. But while it's down, I'll talk. So that's right. I think you can see through it.
I can't see.
They had laid, these plans that they were going to release the movie into all these theaters across the country, and suddenly they were releasing it into like 40. And I mean, that's an exaggeration, but they didn't think that they had a hit at all. And then it came out and it was a hit.
Yeah, and
It was
the
a hit.
guy who's in charge of how many theaters get the film, that guy, when he saw the film, I think it was maybe 2 months before, we all went to a rough cut, and he was sitting right behind us, and he said, "Pizza," and walked out of the room. Yeah, and we were all really bummed out that that's what happened, and we thought we were sunk. And then that sneak preview happened, and we blew the roof off the place.
Yeah, crazy.
On Monday, after the film came out, other studios were calling that guy and saying, "Didn't you know what you had? Why didn't you release that wide? How could you have missed this?" Anyhow, he got fired.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, they released it ultimately in August, right? I mean, it was like at the end of August, the dead time to release a movie, and they had no publicity for it. It was the thing about cons is, and nerds, and that movie in particular, and videotape, all of that stuff was happening at the same time. You know, where you were reaching the point where you could watch a movie that was your favorite movie that was gone in a week. You could buy it and watch it at home. And then the cons started, and you started meeting all of these people who had the same taste that you did. And it went from being in a garage with your friends, pretending to be your favorite characters, to coming to a place with hundreds of your friends who also love the same things that you do. And it was all happening simultaneously over a period of 3-4 years or so. And it's one of the reasons why Nerds became so successful, is it was just a time.
It was just hitting the zeitgeist.
Weren't you? And it was at a time.
It did.
Not at all. I mean, I talk like this all the time. So it just all went from there, and we were really lucky. It was a timing thing.
Yeah, the only thing that, gets a little old is do the laugh.
But unprompted, you've done it a couple times.
Right? I don't like doing it, but he does it all the time.
The movie, like being like what it is, and like it's like there's a thing where actors are just trying to get roles. They're just trying to work. They're just trying to keep your health insurance. They're just trying to keep on working. And you never really know what's going to take off. But like would you like have guessed, you know, just like, are there other things that you've done in your time that like you thought, oh well, this is going to hit just like Nerds, or this is going to like be huge as well?
No, nobody knows, man.
You never know.
Yeah,
right?
you never know. I mean, that's the thing. If studios knew which were going to be hits, they'll spend $200 million just in advertising, but they still don't know if it's going to be hit for sure or not.
Yeah.
You know, and especially when we were doing this, we had no idea. I mean, you know, it's kind of an interesting thing because, as Curtis was saying, the studio executives did not like the dailies, the rushes, which basically when you film stuff, they send it back to the executives back at the studio in Hollywood, and they basically, you know, determine whether or not it's worthwhile, you know,
they might
keep
give some more
going
money,
or whatever.
yeah.
And they say they have notes and everything else, and the first notes about our show was not very good.
Was it feeling funny as you were shooting it though? Was it at least like?
I thought so.
Well, I think.
Yeah, but you are really amused easily.
I can't argue with that. I'm amused being here looking at all you nerds.
But you know what's like a cool thing is that on the first day of principal photography, after the 3 weeks we got to make, we were in the first shot that I recall was we were in a gymnasium, and we were the people who did not get picked for fraternities and sororities, right? And so that first day, Curtis and I, we're all in there, but Curtis and I are sitting on a cot, and you know when you're filming, it's really a long process, and it's rather boring, and you got to keep yourselves occupied, or you're gonna like just fall asleep. It's horrible. So he and I are playing checkers, playing chess, and then we started playing cards with each other, and we started kind of coming up with these little bits, and we start making ourselves laugh on some of this stuff, and we started coming up with these bits, and we said, you know what? Let's show the director.
Yeah, I think Curtis can explain how it actually happened.
I would actually, it's close. But
Okay,
what I remember
he
from
knows.
that-
He wrote the book.
We were sitting on cots next to each other, and Jeff Canoe, who's the director,
Art director, yeah.
came by, and he was going to shoot Bobby and Tony, and he said, "You guys come up with something, because you're next." And so we started doing the bit. I mean, he was saying, you know, oh, I think I've got a thrush.
I think I have a thrush.
I don't remember whether it was that one or the next one, but we came up with that running thing, which went on then for the rest of the movie. It would be Brian and me, and he would be the innocent, and I would be the guy
asshole. But collectively we would just keep coming up and
there was a lot of improvisation. They didn't. I mean, not while the camera was rolling, but we would come up with ideas, and that was.
And that was the director was like receptive to that, just like kind of keeping it live, having that spark of you guys actually connecting.
Oh yeah, I mean things were happening in the moment, and sometimes they'd be repeated, and sometimes the director would say, "Well, you got that out of your system."
That was funny.
He actually said that to me.
Really?
Yeah, it's a scene with the kissing booth, and I walk up in front of Betty and I pull out like 500 tickets, you know?
Yeah.
And whatever I did, he goes, "Yeah, you got that out of your system."
Yeah, I remember Bobby. We were watching after this panty raid. We were watching all the cameras we set in for this panty raid. But I remember Bobby had this big cereal bowl, and he had all the cereal in it. But he was actually drinking beer.
Oh, in the cereal with the beer, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was like the coolest thing.
Yeah, the kid that threw me the beer, he was, I don't remember what we called him. We had these nondescript nerds that were kind of around. Anyhow, I said, "Throw me a beer," and bam, I caught it. It's like, cool.
It was perfect.
Yeah, that was perfect.
The nondescript nerds, so those were just the filler? The
Filler nerds, yes.
Yeah, not principal nerds.
We beat them up after the movie was over. We beat them up.
Yeah.
So he beat them up. He beat them up.
Don, were you like they said they kind of got to hang out and connect. Did you get to like you and Ted McGinley get to like hang out, or like John? Do you hate Ted McGinley? What was that Not a Married with Children fan, I'm assuming.
No, we really didn't hang out. I hung out by myself because I was a big star of the film, and I had my own hotel, so nobody hung out with me because I just, they used to have to drive me to set the limousine, and that stuff. I think that's what.
Well, the reason he had his own hotel is he hit his head on the other hotel.
Yeah.
It was too short for him.
He was Mr. Ogre to us.
Being a superstar, it's a little hard to even do these panels.
Yeah.
I like to be paid for everything.
Does anyone have any questions? If you have one, raise your hand and we could.
Yeah, there's a guy right in the front.
Yeah.
Yes, your book came out maybe about like 6 years ago, I'd say.
What?
Your book.
I don't have it for sale at my table.
It's called Revenge
Come
of the
visit.
Nerd.
You can get the
It's the
video
only
audio
one on the
version
table.
because if you can't read like I can't, you can hear it.
That's right. You can hear it too.
Hey,
I
wait,
think Don keeps wanting to hear the audiobook. It's also available on audiobook. But I know you do. But but I am selling some copies here. So
Okay, we
What
have,
did they
we have-
cost,
we have a
Curtis?
question, Don.
Oh, sorry.
Fire away.
Question? Is someone? Right, yeah.
Talking about killing time and stuff. When did the pranks go too far? The broken bones, when bones got broken, that was too far.
Yeah, was there any on-set hijinks? It's like there's a lot of young people on set. You guys are out in Arizona. I'm sure there's a lot of boring moments. Was there any?
There was always hijinks.
Yeah, but it was on a professional level. It wasn't like none of the pranks were professional. Okay, it was professional.
Yeah.
Next.
Right here. What is each of your favorite line from the movie? Robert, this is another chance to do the laugh.
It's going to be a great year.
That's a good line. I'll give you mine.
Yeah. For me, in the movie, Curtis has the best line. I don't know if he's going to say it,
It's
but
not
for
a
me, that's my favorite line.
What?
Come on, Curtis, you know the line.
No, I'm not going to say what my line is, stupid. No, here's the thing. My favorite line, about piece of dialogue in the movie, is at the very end, and it's not mine. It's what Bobby and Tony do at the pep rally when they talk about what it's like being a nerd. And I am telling you, after all those years, I still get teary-eyed when I hear it. Well, I mean, that's obviously after all of Don's dialogue, because Don's dialogue is obviously the best. But next to that was Bobby and Tony's.
Oh, thank you, Curtis.
I think my favorite may be, what does CAT really spell dog?
I meant that one too. That was my other favorite.
You better admit your other favorite, or you're not going to sell a book to this lady.
It's funny because there were so many things in the movie that were not scripted that they kept in that we just kind of kept going and everything else. But it seems like a lot of people really like me to repeat this one. So I'll repeat it for you now.
There you go.
Hair pie! Hair pie!
What do you got?
Hello there. Thank you very much for coming to our little convention here. And I hope you're being treated very well in the Sunshine State, as we've got a lot of nice warm weather here. And I must confess that yes, I am a nerd.
Thank you.
Even to the point where my degree's in physics at the University of West Florida here in Pensacola.
I had a nerd for nuclear science engineering. Were we in the same school?
Not exactly. That's all right. That's all right.
I'm sorry.
When Revenge of the Nerds came out, I was participating in the high school National Science Olympiad. Oh yeah. So I was really intrigued by how humorous and fun it was to solve some of those college social problems with intelligence and science.
Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Well, okay, the question is,
What is the
when you
question,
did the
ma'am?
yes, I'm sorry. When we're doing the tricycle race through there, were you was it physically strenuous to make sure that you were riding faster as the other contestants were supposed to be playing that they were not?
Okay, I'll make it real easy. This is the thing. This is the behind-the-scenes story of the tricycle race, right? In the script, it says Takashi wins the tricycle race. And basically the concept is you have to go around the track, and every time you go around the track, you take a beer. Well, there was this thing called trichloromethylene, which is this little antidote to what you drink where you're not going to get drunk. Okay, so we're filming in Tucson, Arizona, in this big arena. It's a beautiful day, and the lead actors, we come in, and the prop guy goes, okay, you have a choice. We can give you a soda, and we'll dress it to look like a beer, or you can have a cold beer while you're filming. We're so funny. Silly?
Yeah, we're in Arizona.
Yeah, in Arizona. Of course it's gonna be a cold beer. But the thing is, you forget that, when you're filming, there's always a lot of different angles and different shots and the constant repeat of doing this. So Takashi's going around drinking a beer, going around drinking beer. They take more shots and more shots. Well, on a hot day, Takashi had a few more beers than he was anticipating. And so to answer your question, no, I didn't have to, get ahead of anybody else. I was just so lit by that time that it didn't matter. And so I would just come around, and at the end of it, these guys are carrying me around, and I'm doing this. Well, I'll tell you, I was feeling no pain.
Awesome. We got a question over here on this side.
Thank you. And again, thank you all for being here. I love the movie.
Thank you.
Over the years, some parts of it have not aged so well.
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg is running the world, and things aren't that great. So turning that question kind of on its head, what are the things in the movie that you think will stand up in 30 years' time? What do you think are the things that are kind of timeless about it, that regardless of how our culture changes, if they ever remade it, they would keep that as the core of the movie?
Well, you couldn't remake what we did in 1984. Nor do I think you should try to remake what we did in 1984. I think that Revenge of the Nerds is at the pinnacle of Hollywood cinema.
I was even confused what the damn question was.
Yeah?
Okay.
I mean, they tried to remake Revenge of the Nerds. I don't know if you were aware of that. They did a remake of it.
They started to make
Or they started to do a remake of it. And we were not involved in it. But they were shooting it, I think, at Duke. I might get in
Duke
trouble.
University.
Yeah. And they had just gone through the sexual assault thing at Duke.
Yeah, with the soccer players?
With the
hockey
anyway,
players?
whatever it
Some
was.
players.
And I probably am wrong about all of it, so my apologies to Duke and my apologies to all of you. But it was something that they had happened. And they had read a script for Revenge of the Nerds, which was not exactly what was being filmed. And they were basically trying to outgross us. This was whenever it was. How many years ago? It wasn't that long ago, 10 years, 20 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And they were trying to be more explicit than ours was, because ours was considered passé, And when they found out what they were actually shooting on their campus, they pulled the plug on the movie, and it was never finished.
Yes.
It exists in some form somewhere.
A scene or two.
A scene or two.
Or 2
That's
weeks
it.
worth, that's what it is.
And that was it. I mean, yes, there's stuff in the movie that would not be, that wasn't appropriate then, and it would certainly be less appropriate now. But what I said before about the end of the movie, about getting teary-eyed about, yes, I'm almost done, that I would be getting teary-eyed about those last speeches. That's what Revenge of the Nerds is for me.
Yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I think, honestly, all of us have felt that we were the underdog at some point in time in our life, right? But basically what we're doing is we're celebrating our uniqueness. And I think the thing to carry away is basically we're all worthwhile, and we all can win, no matter who we are. It's true. You know, so that's kind of the message that's going to carry on, right?
We have a few minutes left, so we'll wrap it up with these two questions. Hello, what's your question?
What was your favorite part to film in the movie?
What was
my favorite part to film in the movie was the moonwalk.
Yeah. That whole musical sequence is amazing.
Yes?
For me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I started the movie, so every scene I did was my favorite.
I know what I think was my favorite, to answer your question. I loved all of the scenes where we were all sitting around in the house together, all of the nerds, like when we're having breakfast together and all that kind of stuff, because there was that feeling of camaraderie and friendship and all that sort of thing, and I really liked that part.
Yeah.
And I'm the same as Curtis. I feel the same way because we were really kind of like a little family. And I like the tricycle race.
Oh, yeah.
You lush.
And the last but not the least question is?
Can you guys talk a little bit about filming the talent show and what you thought of the end result when you saw it for the first time?
The talent show.
The talent show.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, there's a talent show?
You know, the guy that played Lamar, the African-American, he was the one that wrote the rap for that particular sequence.
No way.
Yeah,
He also was a choreographer. He choreographed it. Yeah.
Very talented, yeah.
Thank you all for coming out to see us.
Thanks, everybody. This is